What do you see below you? What's the first thing you see? What do you see around you?
I see open space and sand dunes.
Look at your feet. What do you see on your feet?
I'm barefoot.
And what is around your feet?
Stones.
And walk on that.
Okay.
What are you wearing? Are you wearing anything around your legs?
I'm wearing this.
Describe it.
Like loose fitting clothing.
Is there a certain color?
Whitish and beige.
Is there anything else that you're wearing?
No.
Do you feel male or female?
Male.
Young or old?
Middle age.
Middle age. Do you feel healthy or not?
Yes. I feel healthy.
Okay. And are you wearing any jewelry or ornaments on your body?
Yes.
Describe it.
There's bracelets on my left wrist.
What does the bracelets look like?
One of them is like blue glass. Like a series of blue glass beads.
Okay.
And the other is made out of leather.
Is there any patterns or insignia or anything on it?
The leather has horses on it.
Describe it.
The horses are almost like stick figures. That feel like they're traveling around the wristband.
Okay. And are you carrying anything?
I have a stick in my other hand.
Describe the stick.
It's almost as tall as me. And it's slender. It feels very, very light, but very hard. Hardwood.
Now take the stick and walk towards your home.
Towards my home.
Mm-hmm. And describe what you see along the way. Do you see other things?
More rocks.
More rocks.
It's become more, rocky and mountainous.
And as you're walking, are you getting close to your home?
Yes.
Describe your home.
It's built into the rock. And mostly just see the doorway.
Go ahead and open the doorway and go inside. Describe the interior of your house.
The door was made out of wood. You go inside and there's one window that faces to the outside.
Okay. And what is the view that you see?
It's kind of like a small valley looking out into the flat sand or desert.
Okay. And let's sit down and eat a meal. As you eat a meal in your home, what kind of food are you eating?
There's dates, and bread.
Did you cook the bread yourself?
No, someone else cooked it.
Who cooked the bread?
A woman.
Describe the woman.
She's similar age to me, but she doesn't live here.
Where does she live?
She lives with the other people.
And what does she do for you? What is her job with you?
She's
Does she take care of you, or what does she do every day?
She prepares food and cleans.
Do you have any feelings towards her?
Yes.
What are those feelings?
I'm curious how she feels about me.
Can you talk to her?
Yes.
Ask her how she feels about you. What did she say?
She said she's weary to open up to me.
Ask her why. What did she say?
That it's not her place.
Her place to...
Be friendly with me.
Do you have a companion in here already?
No.
Is there anybody else that lives with you?
No.
Tell her how you feel.
I feel that I'm curious about her. And I like having her around.
Tell her what your intentions are.
I'd like her to feel loved.
And what did she say? Did she say anything?
Not with words. And she looked at me. There was an openness in her expression.
Okay. Now I want you to tell me, what do you do for a living in this lifetime?
A shepherd.
What do you shepherd? What do you herd?
Sheep.
Okay. And then, do you sell the sheep for money, or
Sell their wool.
sell the wool? And do you make a good living doing that?
I'm not wealthy, but I'm able to have my home and my animals.
Now, I want you to leave that scene and move forward to a very important day. A day that you consider to be important when something is happening. We have now moved forward to an important day in this life. What is happening? Do you see anything that's happening in this important day?
No.
No. Move forward to another important day in this life. Something that is impactful. What do you see?
I don't see anything.
You see anything? Okay. On this last day of your life, do you see anybody around you?
No. I'm alone.
You're alone?
Mhm.
You can observe the last day of your life. You don't have to experience. We have gone forward to the last day of your life in this lifetime we are watching. And there's nothing that you see.
I'm outside.
You're outside? What's outside?
Outside the house.
Describe it.
I'm higher up than the house in the same valley or canyon. It's hot out.
Are you standing on something or
No, I'm laying down on the rocks.
laying on the rocks? And what do you see around you?
I see higher rocks and I see dry plants. And I can still see the view out towards the flat and the sand and the wind. I can see the sun. It's in the late part of the day.
Is there anybody else around you?
No, it's just me.
Do you feel any pain?
No.
Okay. As you look at the life presented right now, what did you learn from it?
And then it's hard to be alone.
What do you think the purpose of a lifetime where you were alone?
Find peace with others.
Why did you not pursue a relationship with your house, the maiden that cleaned your house, that you had affection for?
I thought she would get in trouble.
By who?
The people that were in charge of her.
Who was in charge of her?
A man.
And who was that man?
He's a more prominent man in the village.
And what is his relationship to her?
Her father.
Her father. And why would he not approve of your relationship with her?
She was sent to be a servant.
To you?
Yes.
Did you ever ask her to be with you?
No.
But you spent most of your life wanting to be with her?
Spent this part of my life.
This part of your life? Did you pursue anybody else?
No.
Now I want you to get back on the cloud. And I want you to drift to another time and place. Float away from that scene, leaving the person there to continue their own path. You can either move forward or backward to find another appropriate time and place. You can even cross over to the spirit world. What do you see?
It's not clear yet.
Come down from the cloud, and below you, there's a scene. What is that scene?
Water on the shore.
Okay. Now get off the cloud and go to the shoreline.
Okay.
Look at your feet, and what do you see?
Crab.
A crab. Describe, is the crab you, or do you see a crab by your feet?
I see a crab up close as if it were bigger than me.
The crab is bigger than you?
Yeah.
Describe your body.
I feel flat against the sand.
You feel flat against the sand?
Mm-hmm.
Are you the land?
Perhaps.
Continue to describe what you feel on you.
I feel the crab moving. I feel the water washing up and down.
And when you look up and down on your body, what do you see?
See a fin.
Describe the fin. Is it long or short?
It's short.
Is your legs the fin?
The fin is my hand.
The fin is your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have legs?
No, I have a tail.
You have a tail. Are you humanoid?
No.
What are you?
Fish.
You're fish. And what kind of fish do you think you are?
Something like a swordfish.
Okay. And where are you now? Are you in the water, or are you still on the shore with the crab?
I'm still on the shore.
Go ahead and move around and try to get back in the water. What do you see?
Entering back into the water now.
What does that feel like?
I'm thankful to be back in the water.
What happened to the crab?
The crab is also kind of in the water, but he's still more on the shore.
Okay. Go ahead and swim and explore your area.
Okay.
What do you see as you explore your area?
The water's shallow. You see the light coming down through the water. It's mostly just sand, like a shallow part of the bay. The water's getting deeper and bluer.
Go deep into the water.
Okay.
And describe what you see as you dive deeper in the water.
See the rocks. And then it gets really deep, and I can't see quite down in there.
Is your home somewhere?
My home feels more in the shallow water.
Is there anybody else around you?
No, not really.
It's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and swim around and explore the area a little bit more. Do you see anything from the shore? In the shore? Are you a big fish or a small fish?
I feel like a big fish.
How old do you feel like you are?
I feel like a young big fish.
Okay. And there are no other fishes like you around?
Not like me.
Okay. You want to swim around the island a little bit more and explore?
Sure.
And go ahead and describe what you see.
There's a point on the island that comes out into the water. And on the other side, the water is not sheltered. It's rougher and deeper.
You want to dive deep to see what's in the deep depths of the water?
Sure. I can try going down there.
Remember, you're in that pyramid, so that nothing can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So keep going deep into the waters. And what kind of creatures do you see that live deep in the waters?
There's whales in the deep water.
And what do they look like?
Like a humpback whale.
How many do you see?
I see several.
Like a pod?
Yeah.
And what are they doing?
They're moving along. They're swimming.
Let's follow them. Where are they going?
They're going parallel with the shore. So not towards it or away, but just along.
Is the water cold or warm?
It's colder down here.
Colder. But up top where your home is, in the shallow area, it's warmer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of trees do you see on this island?
It's sort of tropical. It's not quite like a fully tropical jungle. There's some trees that
Does it have inhabitants?
not that I see.
Okay.
I
And
see a lot of trees and hills.
Okay. Now back in the water, as you're exploring the deep ocean, let's just go deeper into the ocean as far as you can. And tell us what you see. Do you see anything down there? Any other kind of animals or anything at all?
There's jellyfish.
Keep going around the jellyfish. What else is down there?
An octopus.
Oh, how big is the octopus?
It's big.
Bigger than you?
It's not the same size as me.
How many are there?
There's one.
Okay. And what color does it look like?
It's purplish.
Purple? Okay. And let's keep going a little bit further. Let's just keep diving deeper. As deep as you can. Do you see anything?
a lot darker down here.
Let's just keep going. You're in the pyramid. And nothing can hurt you. Let's just keep going really deep into the ocean. This is your natural habitat. You're a fish. What else do you see?
It's not a shark.
Oh. How many sharks?
There's one. He's up above you.
Okay. So he doesn't mind you at all.
No, he doesn't seem to take notice of you.
Okay. Is there anything else down there? Go as far as you can until you can't get any further.
There's an eel in the rocks.
Okay. Now I want you to move to a very important time in this life. An eventful day. What do you see?
I'm back near the surface again.
Okay. What is happening?
I see a boat.
What does the boat look like?
It's small. Like a small wooden boat. With oars moving in the water.
Okay. And who is on it?
There's several men on the boat.
What do they look like?
They have tan skin. They look like fishermen.
What are they wearing?
They're wearing loose-fitting clothes. Mostly just on the bottom.
Okay. Does it have any patterns or designs?
The clothing?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's
No.
just material.
Material. And what kind of boat do you see? Is it?
It's a small wooden boat that they would take from the bigger boat.
And what does the bigger boat look like?
The bigger boat's also made out of wood.
Okay. And what are the men doing to you?
And cotton.
They caught you. And what does it feel like to get caught?
It was surprising.
And why did you go to their boat?
I was curious about their boat.
Okay. So now what happens now that they caught you?
And now I'm back out of the water.
I want you to move forward into the last day of your life in this life. What do you see?
I'm out in the open air. I can feel the sunshine again.
Okay. Are you still a fish?
Yes.
And what happened?
They killed me.
Okay. So you became their food?
Yes.
Okay. And now I want you to move forward and take a look at the scene. What does it look like? What are they doing?
It's a beautiful day. And there's me and other fish, and they're being cleaned
Okay.
to be taken back to the big boat.
Okay. Do you see more people when they take you back? Do you see more people?
Yeah.
Describe the environment.
They're all men on the big boat.
Okay.
There's not very many. Most of them have gone on the little boat to go fishing.
Okay. Now all the men are on the big boat, and then the big boat, where does it go?
Goes back out to sea.
Okay. And then when they return to their home, what does their home look like? Where your final destination is?
It's similar to the island, but bigger. And there's people that live near the beach.
And what kind of homes do they live in?
Made out of wood.
Can you describe the type of home it is?
They're kind of like cabins or huts.
Okay. And how many people live in each cabin or hut?
Several people. Small families and others are smaller, or some are more shared.
Okay. So you become part of their feast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you're a glorious feast. Now, what was the purpose of this lifetime for you to see?
Well, I see the children of the village now.
Mm-hmm. And what's happening?
And the children are playing during the feast. And they're eating the fish and the other things that the men have gathered.
Okay. What did you learn from being a fish?
I learned that it was okay that my life was to feed someone else's.
Okay. Now you're on the other side of this life. You can go into the spirit world, or you can get back on the cloud and explore another time and place. Where are you wanting to go?
To the spirit world.
Go ahead and go to the spirit world. This life is done. What do you see?
I see a light.
Follow that light. Remember, you're in the pyramid, so nothing can hurt you. Tell me what you see.
Going into the light.
Okay. And as you walk through the light, you're coming out of the light, what do you see? What's the first thing that you see?
Shape.
Describe the shape.
The shape of a girl. But like a sign, or like an animation that you would see on the stop sign or something like that.
What does it say?
There's no words. There was a silhouette of a girl.
Go ahead and walk closer to the girl. Describe what you see as you walk closer to the girl. Is she coming close to you?
Yes.
What does she look like?
She has bangs and golden hair, and she is like a cartoon.
Okay. And what is she doing?
She's holding hands. A woman.
Describe the other woman.
She's taller and quiet, and they walked by me as if they're going somewhere.
Go ahead and follow them. See where they go. Describe what you see as you're following them.
They're in the park.
And what are they doing?
They're walking along and they're not talking.
What else do you see in the park?
A pond.
Okay. Go up to the women and ask them, what is this place? What did they say?
This is my home.
Do you see your home somewhere?
No, home is just the place.
Walk around and explore the place. And tell me what you see in this place. Do you see any buildings or any other people?
There's a building.
Go to the building. What does the building look like?
It's like a barn or a stable.
Okay. Go ahead and walk into the building. What do you see inside the building?
There's buffalo in the building.
Okay. Is there anything else in the building? What are the buffalo doing?
They're grazing in their stalls.
Okay. And what are you doing?
I'm walking down the corridor between all the stalls.
And what are you wearing? Look at your feet.
Rubber boots.
Rubber boots? And how high are these boots?
To my upper calf.
Okay. And are you wearing anything else?
I'm wearing shorts.
Any shorts? Okay. Are you a man or a woman?
I'm a boy.
You're a boy. Okay. And as you walk through the stables looking at the buffalo grazing, what else do you see? Do you see any other animals? Or is it just buffalo?
Well, now I'm outside looking at a different part of the building.
What do you see in that part?
There's a horse in that part.
Go ahead and walk towards the horse.
Okay.
Are there more horses?
Yes. Only one of them is looking at me.
Okay. Go ahead and walk towards the horses and see what you're doing.
I'm cleaning up after the animals.
Okay. And do you enjoy taking care of the animals?
I do.
Okay. And when you're done with cleaning up after the animals, let's walk to your home. Do you see your home?
Yes.
What does it look like?
It's a small house.
Go ahead and walk up to the front door.
Okay.
And walk through the door. Describe what it looks like inside your house.
There's a wallpaper,
What's on the wallpaper?
flowers and birds.
And is there anybody else that lives in the house with you?
There's my grandma.
Okay. And what is she doing?
She's cooking.
What is she cooking?
She's making dinner.
What's for dinner?
There's warm potatoes, and cheese. There's bread.
Okay.
And corn.
Are these vegetables from the farm?
Yes.
Did you grow these vegetables?
She grew most of them, but I helped out.
Who else lives in this house with you and your grandma?
My sister,
Is she older or younger?
she's younger.
Does she have a name?
Sally,
Sally. And does your grandma have a name?
Mary.
Mary. Okay. And let's all sit down to a meal. What are they saying to you?
My father and mother are there too.
Okay.
They also live there, but they were gone when I got home with my sister.
And what do they do?
My father was a businessman. My mother travels with him when he goes to places for business.
What does she do for business?
He's an accountant.
Okay. And do you see your parents a lot?
Not all the time. I'm mostly with my grandma.
Do you miss your parents?
I do.
And talk to your grandma and ask her a question. What do you want to ask your grandma?
Where did mom and dad go?
And what does she say?
She said they go to town.
I want you to move to a very important part of this life. A very eventful day. What do you see?
See grandma in her bed.
Describe the scene.
My parents and my sister are there and mine. And there's a few other people around the house.
And how do you feel about your grandma dying?
I feel sad.
I want you to move forward into another important part of your life beyond your childhood in this lifetime. A very important day. What do you see?
Train.
Describe it.
It's a steam train. And it's parked and it's waiting for people to get on.
Okay. Are you one of the people that's going to get on the steam train?
Yeah.
And what are you wearing?
I'm older now. And I'm wearing a suit.
And why are you wearing a suit?
So I'm going off to business.
What kind of business do you do?
I'm also an accountant.
Okay. So you get on the train. Describe what you see.
There's other people in the passenger car. And they're sitting and talking and having some food and drinks.
Are you with anybody?
No, I'm alone.
Okay. So move forward in the train. The train has stopped. Where did the train stop at?
Train stopped in between towns.
What town is the train stopped at?
It's in between towns.
Okay. Is it taking a break?
Yes, there was a problem with the train.
What happened to the train?
Something with the engine has gone wrong.
Did they fix it?
It's getting fixed. It doesn't sound like a big deal.
Okay. So the train got fixed. Let's get back on the train. Where does the train go?
It's going through the countryside.
Okay.
And it goes to a big city.
What city is that?
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Do you get off at San Francisco?
I do.
Get off of San Francisco. Describe the train station that you're at.
It's similar to the one at home, but it's much bigger and there's a lot more people.
Okay. And what is everybody else wearing?
Some people are wearing suits. Some people look poor.
What do the women wear?
Long dresses.
They all wear long dresses?
Most of them.
Okay. And what kind of dresses are these?
Many of them are very modest.
Modest. Okay. And do you see any children?
Yes.
And where are they?
Some of them are with their parents.
Okay.
There are some children who seem to be on their own.
And the trains, all you see are steam trains.
Yes.
Can you see the name of any of these trains?
No.
Do you hear anybody mention any names on the trains?
Names of people?
Names of people or anything?
No.
Okay. So you got off the train. Where are you going now?
I'm going into the city where I live.
Okay. So let's go to your home in the city. Describe your home. Do you see it?
Yes.
Describe your home in San Francisco.
It's a shared building and I live upstairs.
And what does the building look like?
It's like a townhouse.
Okay. And how do people get around?
Most people walk, but there are some cars around.
What does the cars look like?
Very old cars.
How old?
1920s.
1920s. Do you have a car?
No.
Okay. So, describe your home inside. What does it look like?
There's a steam radiator heater by the window. The house feels old.
Do you live by yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want you to move to another important day in this life. A very important day. What do you see? Do you see anybody around you?
No.
Do you see anything? Do you see any objects around you?
There's a table.
What's on the table?
A crystal glass.
What's inside the crystal glass?
Some kind of liquid.
Go ahead and pick it up and look at the liquid.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
It looks like sparkling wine.
Okay. And look around you. Is there anybody else with you?
Yes.
Who is there?
There's another man there.
And describe him.
He's much older than me.
Is he a friend or how do you feel about this man?
He doesn't feel like a friend at all.
He doesn't feel like a what?
He doesn't feel like a friend at all.
What does he feel like?
He feels scary to me.
Why does he feel scary?
feels dark.
Now remember, you have a pyramid around you, so no one can hurt you. As you walk towards this man, what is he doing?
He's mixing things.
What is he mixing?
Some powders.
And when he's done mixing the powder, what does it make?
That's still powder.
But what is it for?
I put it in my drink.
And what does it do?
Poison you.
And why does he poison you?
So I was working for him.
The drink, tell me what it feels like to be poisoned when you're drinking it.
There's a tension in my tongue.
Anything else?
My throat and my mouth get very dry, and there's a very bitter feeling that comes.
Is there any other symptoms of drinking poison? Wine?
Yes.
What is it?
My hands clench up. Soon I can't stand anymore.
So do you fall over?
Yes.
And what do you see as you fall over?
See the man's shoes.
What is he wearing?
He has on nice shoes and slacks.
So is he wearing a suit?
Yes.
What title does this man have? You said you work with him.
He's a banker.
He's a banker. Is he your client or your boss? Or your coworker?
He was a boss.
Do you know his name?
No.
What bank does he work for?
Montgomery?
Montgomery?
Yeah.
He works for a bank in Montgomery Bank in San Francisco in the early 1900s.
Yes.
And do you know, when you look at him, what does he look like?
He wears glasses. And he's mostly bald. He's a fairly large man.
Is he wearing anything distinctive?
He's wearing a watch and a ring.
What does the watch look like?
It's an old watch.
Where does he pull it from?
He's wearing it on his wrist.
He's wearing it on his wrist. Okay. And why does he want to poison you?
Because I was being honest about what he was doing.
And what was he doing?
He was stealing people's money.
And you told him, what did you tell him that aggravated him?
I told him I was going to give their money back.
And what did he do?
He poisoned me.
He poisoned you. Alright. As you look at your body, is there anything else that he does before he leaves?
He took something from me.
What did he take?
He took a pocketbook out of my coat.
And what is that he took out of your pocketbook?
It was my notes.
What kind of notes was in the pocketbook?
The notes of his ledger.
Did the notes have the clients that he stole from?
Yes.
Is that the only note of his transgressions against customers?
That was the important one.
That was the important one. Did anybody find your body?
No.
So nobody found your body?
No.
Okay. I want you to step back from the life and take a look at the life, what did you learn from it?
I learned that I was happy in my home as a child in the country.
Okay. So you're more happy in the country than in the city?
Yes, I made a choice to go to the city
Because
to be like my father.
to be a businessman?
Yeah.
But your father didn't live in the city.
No, he used to go to the city for work and he would come home.
Okay. So you learned that you enjoy the country more than living in the city.
Yes.
And between the two options in this lifetime, did you enjoy being the farmer more than being a businessman?
Yes.
Okay. That was your... Is there anything else that you learned from this lifetime?
Living with the city can be cruel.
Why?
There's dark things that happen in the city.
In this life, did you meet anybody else? A companion? Or did you die alone?
I was alone when I died.
Did you have anybody that you loved in this lifetime?
No. I was a fairly young man.
You were a young man?
Yeah.
At what age do you think you died?
In my mid-20s.
Okay. So you died in your mid-20s as an accountant, businessman in San Francisco, in your own home.
No. I was in the office of my employer when he poisoned me.
Do you know that, and the office of your employer, he works for a bank named Montgomery.
Yes.
And what does the front of the office look like? Does it have the bank name on it?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's get back on the cloud. And let's leave this scene. Now that you've revisited some significant past memories, let's move forward in time to a future time in this lifetime or another future lifetime. The cloud is coming down to pick you up and take you there. What do you see?
Right now I'm on the cloud. We're going over the fields and the mountains.
Now keep traveling. When you're ready, come down off the cloud at any point in time and space in the future. What do you see?
I'm still moving right now.
Is it coming down?
Yes.
Alright, as you come down, what do you see below you?
See lots of people.
Describe them.
A lot of them are mostly naked or adorned in costume.
Describe the costume. Describe what they're wearing.
They're somewhat animal-like.
Okay.
There's elements of fur, feathers. They're painted. It feels like a festival.
And you said that they were adorned. What are they adorned with?
Hats. Hat's not like a regular hat, but like Like animal.
What does the animal look like? The animal hats.
Like coyotes.
Are you one of these people?
Yes.
Describe what you're wearing.
I'm also wearing one of the coyote-like hats.
Is it a real coyote on the top of your hat?
Yes, there is.
Okay. And what are you wearing on your body?
I'm bare-chested. My lower half is partially covered.
With what?
A garment of sorts.
What is the garment made of?
Leather.
Okay. And what are you wearing on your feet? Do you wear anything?
I'm barefoot again.
Okay. Are you holding anything on your hand?
No.
Look around you. What's going on with all these people? What are they celebrating?
There's a big fire. And it's approaching nighttime. And we're dancing.
Okay. Are there women there as well?
Yes.
Are there children there as well?
Yes.
And what are they celebrating?
Celebrating the summer season.
Okay. And what is there to celebrate in the summer season?
There's warm days. There's an abundance of food.
Okay. Do you see your home anywhere?
I don't feel that I live here.
What are you doing there?
We gather here for the festival.
Where do you live usually?
I live farther away.
How did you get here?
I came on the cloud.
But how did you get from your home in this lifetime to the festival?
With horses.
With horses. Did you come by yourself?
No.
Who did you come with?
Came with people from my village.
Are you alone? Do you have a companion?
I do have a companion.
Describe your companion.
She's a woman.
And what is her relation to you?
She's my partner.
Is she your wife?
Yes.
And what does she look like?
She looks native.
Okay. Is she beautiful?
Yes, she's very beautiful.
Do you love her?
I do.
Do you have any children with her?
Yes.
How many?
We have 2 children.
Describe them.
They're close in age. One's a boy and one's a girl.
What are their names? Ask him what the names are.
Lokia. That's the boy.
What's the boy's name?
Lokia.
Lokia?
Yeah.
And what's the girl's name?
Harish.
Karish? And what's your wife's name?
Tatum.
Hatum? And what tribe are you from? Do you know?
I don't know.
But you're from a different tribe and you traveled here on a horse to be part of this celebration.
Mm-hmm.
With another tribe?
Many tracks.
With many tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And you do this every summer to celebrate the harvest or the summer months?
Yeah, it's before the big harvest.
Before the big harvest. Okay. And do you know what continent or country this tribe that you're part of is from?
South America.
South America. And do you what is your homes typically like?
As far as how they're built,
Mm-hmm.
they're wooden homes.
The wooden homes?
Mm-hmm.
And there are many of them? I want you to move to a very important part of this life, a very important time. The most important time in this life. What do you see?
Right.
And what's going on?
They're looking at each other. I see that she loved me.
Okay. And how old are you?
We're younger.
Younger.
Since before the children.
And what happened?
That's when I knew I loved her.
And how old were you when you knew that?
We were young adults.
You were adults? Okay. And what else is happening? What does she say?
Looking at me, I see that she's vulnerable.
Why is she vulnerable?
She's opening herself to me.
Okay. And do you tell her how you feel?
Yes.
And does she tell you how she feels?
Yes.
And do you guys communicate clearly to each other?
Yes.
And what kind of relationship do you guys have? What kind of marriage do you have in this life?
We're strong together.
Why are you strong?
There's a knowing that we will see this life through together.
So you guys are committed to the same plan?
Yes.
And you guys are committed to working through things together?
Yes.
And you talk through it?
Mm-hmm.
And are honest? Okay. I want you to move forward, very forward into another important day in this life. When you're older. What do you see?
See my son.
And what's happening to your son?
He's getting married.
And describe it. What does the scene look like?
It's in our village. It's very beautiful.
And describe the wedding. What does the wedding look like?
All the people are there. We're gathered in a circle. My son and his wife are in the middle.
Okay. And what are you guys doing in the circle?
We're holding hands.
Do you say anything? Is there anything being done?
There's someone there with him. It's like a ceremony.
Okay. What is the name of your tribe? Can you find out?
Coyote.
Coyote? The Coyote tribe in South America?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to move forward to the last day of your life.
Okay.
What do you see?
My wife.
Your wife. And what is happening?
I'm dying.
And what are you dying of?
My body is ready.
Okay. Does your wife say anything to you?
Yes.
What does she say?
But it's okay.
That it's okay to die?
Mm-hmm.
Do you say anything to her?
So thank you.
Thank you for what?
For being with me.
Are you holding hands?
Yes.
Is there anybody else around you?
Not immediately.
Not immediately.
It's mostly just me and her.
Your life together with her. What did you want to tell her?
I told her what I wanted to tell her.
This life that you had as a tribesman in the Coyote tribe of South America, what was the lesson of this lifetime?
I could find strength in another person.
Okay. And what can you learn about relationships in this marriage?
And then I was a more complete person.
With somebody else?
Through my relationship with my wife.
And in this lifetime, you had no desire to be with anybody else besides the woman that you love.
No.
Okay. Very good. Now we're going to get back on the cloud. Okay? And this person's going to go back to carry on their life. And now we're going to talk to the subconscious. All of the beings in your other lives that we visited have gone back to their lifetimes to carry on their journey. May I speak to Patrick's subconscious, please?
Yeah.
I have permission to speak to Patrick's subconscious, and I respect the power of the subconscious, because I know the subconscious takes care of Patrick's body and does a very good job of it. I also know that the subconscious has the records of everything that has ever happened to Patrick in this lifetime and all the other lifetimes that he has ever lived. So I respect the power of the subconscious, and I always ask for permission to speak to it and ask questions. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I know the subconscious could have brought forth many lifetimes for Patrick to see today. You chose to bring forward a lifetime, the first lifetime. In one of the lifetimes you brought forth, he was a fish. Okay. What was the point of bringing the fish lifetime to him?
Show me he has a relationship with water.
What's the significance of water?
And travel in water. Both in it and on it.
Okay. And in another lifetime, he had been a boy that was born into a farming family, but ended up being an accountant and being drugged by his boss. What was the point in bringing that lifetime to him?
Learn to listen to what his heart wanted for him.
And what did his heart want for him in that lifetime?
He was happiest as a child with his grandmother on the farm.
And in his fourth lifetime, he was a tribesman in South America. You picked that lifetime for him to see. Why?
So you could see he can fully open himself to another person.
And that he can be successful?
Yeah.
And then the last lifetime, which is actually the first lifetime that was brought forth, where he was a shepherd and died alone. What was the purpose of bringing that lifetime to him to see? What was the benefit of seeing a lifetime that he was a shepherd?
Was to see that he had a choice.
A choice in what?
Choice to pursue something that he wanted.
And did he pursue anything that he wanted in that lifetime?
He didn't pursue the one thing he actually wanted.
And what was that?
The woman who brought bread to the house.
Was that woman that brought bread to his house, is she his wife in the lifetime that he was a tribesman?
Yes.
Okay. And is she in his life now?
Yes.
Who is she in this life?
It's my wife.
She's your wife now. Okay. And the children that in the 4 lifetimes, he only had children when he was a tribesman. Is it the same children that he has now? The boy?
Yes.
The boy that he had in the tribesman life is the same son that he has now.
Yes.
How come he did not have his daughter in this lifetime?
Because he stopped honoring his wife.
Okay. Patrick has some questions that he would like to ask you as well about this lifetime. First, he wants to know what is the significance of his relationship with Rose and Sadie?
And to teach him that the love he's looking for isn't the type of love that he thought he was looking for.
What kind of love did they offer him?
They offer a genuine connection. It's unconditional.
Okay. Is any of the connection romantic?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you recommend he do with his relationship with Rose and Sadie?
To be patient. and to be thankful.
Okay. And he has some questions about his deceased loved ones. James, Justin, Kyle, his grandmother, his Uncle Dan. Is there something that any of them wants to tell him?
Yes.
Who wants to speak and what do they want to say?
Grandma wants to speak.
Let's bring Grandma forward. Grandma Minnie, what do you want Patrick to know for the rest of his life?
She wants you to know I'm doing a good job. And then I'll find my way back to the garden.
Okay. Is there anything that Grandma Minnie tells him that he should that he remembers of her? Is there a saying that you typically tell Patrick?
There's something we used to do together sometimes.
What is that?
It's called a boat call. It was a silly thing.
Okay.
And it's to remind me that it's okay to have fun.
Okay. And is there anything else that Grandma Minnie wants Patrick to know besides have fun and you are doing just fine. You'll find your way back to the garden. You're doing good.
Says that she and Grandpa are there.
And then, is there anything that Grandpa wants to say?
Says that he's been here and that he's sorry he didn't get to meet me in this life.
Does Grandpa want to give Patrick a hug or anything that symbolizes?
Yeah. He would like a hug.
Go ahead and give Patrick a big hug. And when Patrick moves on with his life, what symbol represents Grandpa that he may see?
An archer.
An archer?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever he sees an archer, that will be his symbol that Grandpa loves him?
Yes.
Is there a symbol that Grandma wants him to know that represents her?
Paring knife.
A paring knife. So whenever he sees a paring knife, he'll remember Grandma Minnie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now before we close with Grandma Minnie and Grandpa, are there any other deceased family members or friends that also want to step in and express something to Patrick?
Justin would like to say something.
Go ahead, Justin. Step forward.
Justin says to go for it.
And what is it that he needs to go for?
And it says to send it.
To send it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is always to say when you would be skiing or wakeboarding or just going for it in life in general.
Because Justin's giving you a lot of support to just go for your goals.
Yeah.
Alright. Is there anything Justin wants to say to his best friend that he typically says? Or typically represents him?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, he does. He's stoked to find out that I'm Canadian.
Okay. And then, does Justin want to give Patrick a big hug as well?
Yeah, it does.
Go ahead and give him a big hug. And is there anybody else that wants to step forward before we talk to the oversoul again? With Patrick's subconscious.
Yeah, James wants to say hi.
Hi, James. Come on forward. And what does James want to say?
He says paddywhack.
Paddywhack? Okay. And anything else that he wants to let you know about to help you with the rest of your journey here?
Well, James is having a good time. That's good to see.
Okay.
He struggled to have a good time sometimes while he was here.
And does James say anything about the other side that you're going to really love?
He says it's kind of weird, but it's fun.
What's so fun? What's the funnest thing that James has experienced on the other side that he can't wait to share with you when you get there?
There's a lot of adventures to be had.
And before we resume the conversation with the subconscious about the questions that Patrick has, are there any last people who want to step forward?
Uncle Dan wants to say hi.
What does Uncle Dan want to do? What does he want to say?
Says I was the best worker I ever had.
Mm-hmm. Does he have any kind of recommendations for you for the rest of your life?
Yes.
What does he say?
He says it's good to learn about the stars, even if you're a farmer.
Okay. And what about the stars should you start learning?
And we're connected to that mystery.
Okay. Is there something about the constellation of the universe that is most important to you?
There's not any one thing.
Okay.
It's more that we can wonder and ask questions about.
Okay. Now, let's have Dan, Grandma and Grandpa, Kyle, Justin, James, and everybody else on the other side give Patrick a big hug. A big group hug. Because he is going to venture into another aspect of his life. And send him a lot of support. And let's go back to the conversation with the subconscious. Now, Patrick has some questions because he had some trouble sleeping. What is the purpose of him having trouble sleeping? Why does he have trouble sleeping?
He needed to learn how to talk to his body.
And what is his body telling him? Because he has quite a bit of body issues.
A lot of that was around food.
What about food?
Well, bad food is like good for the body.
And what are the bad foods that he needs to avoid eating?
Things from packages and factories.
Okay. So he needs to eat more organic foods?
Living foods.
Living foods. Okay. And if he eats more living foods as part of his regular diet, will that address the headache and the nose and throat issues that he has?
That will help a lot.
That will help a lot? Okay. And what was the theme of the recurring head injuries and the recurring nose and throat injuries? Is there a reason for that?
Head injuries. Head injury started when he was born in this life, but that it may have come from another life.
In which life did the head injuries come from?
Life as a soldier.
When he had life as a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And briefly explain what was the life of the soldier? Which war did he participate in?
World War One.
World War One? And what did he do in World War One?
He was a soldier in a place like Germany. And he was shot in the back of the head.
By who?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. He was shot in the back of the head.
Yes.
Where in the back of the head?
Just below the pointy part where it gets soft.
Okay. And he was young in this lifetime?
Yes.
Was he single as well?
Yes.
Okay. And why did he go to World War One?
He didn't have much of a choice.
Why not?
That's how it was for many young men.
Okay. And what about the nose and throat issues that he has? Where is that coming from?
Part of that's from his diet.
From his diet. Okay.
That's part of it. Part of it is from the house.
The house. What's wrong with the house?
There's bad air in the house.
And what do you recommend he do about the house to fix this?
It's a big undertaking.
Should he fix his house, or should he find a better house to live in?
He has found a different house to live in, but Ziggy and Chelsea will still be in the house.
Will it harm them as well?
He hopes not like it's harmed him, but yes, it may harm them.
So should they sell the house, or what should they do with this house to be healthy?
It will help for them to keep the house clean.
What areas of the house is particularly problematic?
The closet and the floor in the upstairs playroom.
And what's wrong with the closet and the floor and the upstairs playroom?
The air is very dirty.
The air is dirty? Is there any way that they can clean it?
Not really,
Why not?
because it's in the floor.
This is in the floor. What is in the floor?
There's old dust. And there's a number of things.
Okay. So there's really no way they can clean the floor and the closet.
It needs taken apart.
Okay, so it's rotting. Is it rotting?
It's soaked.
It's soaked. Okay. So it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's not soaked wet. There was an old pipe in there for years and years that leaked
Okay.
fumes.
Is there a way to repair that old pipe?
Well, the pipe has been moved outside, but the residualness is still there.
What do you advise that they do with this house? Should they fix it or should they sell it?
It would be good to fix the house.
Fix the house? Do they keep it? After they fix it?
Yeah.
Okay. So they should fix this area of the house that is causing him the nose and throat issues and will be causing his wife and son issues as well, but just not as bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And then his nose and throat issues, again, is because of his diet.
That's a big part.
Big part of it. Is there another part?
Well, breathing the dust in the bad air.
Breathing the dust. Okay. And then the other thing is, he said that he had a lot of sadness around his head injuries. Whenever he hurts his head somehow, he feels sadness. Is that sadness tied to the World War I soldier lifetime?
In a way.
Is there another connection?
Well, I feel sad that it may be part of a future in this lifetime.
And what's that future?
Well, that he could die from the head injury.
Okay. And is there anything that you think that he should know about that future head injury?
It doesn't have to happen.
Why not?
Because he has choices in this life.
And how is this head injury in this future lifetime, in this future time, in this lifetime, how does it happen? Can he know that right now?
It's an accident.
Is it a work accident?
Possibly. That part's hard to tell.
Okay.
But it's something that happened to him.
And if he wanted to avoid making the decisions that lead up to this head injury in this future time, in this lifetime, what advice can you give him? Can you give him any advice about that?
Simple advice is pay attention to your spatial awareness.
Okay. So it sounds like it's an accident that happens because he's not aware of his environment.
Yes.
Okay. And it could possibly be work related.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely tell him that if he wants to avoid that. The other thing he really wanted to know is he has pain in the middle of his back and the spine, and it says it feels like a knife. Can you explain that?
Yes.
Where does that back pain come from?
It comes from his ribs.
What is going on with his ribs?
He hurt himself at work a long time ago.
Okay. And the pain is still there?
It comes back.
Comes back. And what is it telling him?
To slow down.
To slow down? So is his body telling him to slow down and not put so much strain on it.
Yes.
And this is why all this is coming up.
Yes.
Okay. That goes into another question that he has, because Patrick really does want to shift out of his current job role, and he really has a goal where he would like to be and have his livelihood through having a farm and possibly cooking from that farm, kind of like a food to table thing to the public, and also have the time through that to travel and pursue his artistic pursuits. How can he get towards that goal? What kind of tips do you have for him?
He needs to learn to ask for help.
Okay. And who can he ask for help through?
Well,
What do you recommend he do to begin getting to a farm?
just to be open to how it comes.
Okay.
He doesn't have to own the farm.
Okay. He can lease the farm, or
You can lease the farm or run the farm.
okay. And so does he make the agreement with the farm owner to use the land and run the farm and find some kind of way where the livelihood that he makes pays for the usage?
Yeah.
Okay.
The farm owner is happy
To have him take care of the land and the farm.
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of things should he offer? What kind of things should he grow in the farm?
Should grow many things.
Okay. Can you explain some of the most profitable things that he should try growing on the farm?
Herbs.
Herbs. Okay. Is there anything else?
Nuts.
Nuts. Okay. Just a variety of different things.
Yeah, variety is good.
A variety. Okay. And with the produce that he harvests from the farm, does he do it himself, or does he hire people to help harvest the produce?
Yes, he has people to help.
He has people to help. Okay, so he does hire people to help. And then where does he sell the food?
He gives lots of the food away. Okay. He sells the herbs to companies that make tea and tinctures and spagyric medicine.
Okay. So he calls around and finds people who are interested in some of the produce that he makes, and he has a contract with them to fulfill their orders?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how he lives off the farm, is he fulfills these orders for the produce that he grows.
Yes, he works to have the orders before he grows the food.
Okay. So he doesn't just grow the food, he makes the orders first with different businesses.
Yes.
And then he plans out what he grows that year.
Yes.
Perfect. And then, he hires people to help him harvest and package and deliver. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, he was asking about cooking. What do you recommend he do with the cooking aspect of the produce? Does he do some kind of excursion that people come to the farm and have some kind of food to table excursion, or what does he do with that?
People can come stay on the farm.
Oh, so he actually offers stays on the farm.
Yes. They
can come and, like, a bed and breakfast, or?
That's one option.
What are the other options?
They can come to work on the farm for their stay.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he offers people, so he makes some quarters or places to live, and they can live there, and then they can work.
Yes.
Okay, so they get free housing while they're working.
free housing and a lot of free food that's grown on the farm.
Okay. And do you also provide any kind of dinners to the public?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of, are these the paid dinners that you offer to the public?
We have seasonal things.
The seasonal things? You have a seasonal menu?
A seasonal menu, but we also have seasonal events.
Oh, what kind of seasonal events should he offer on his farm?
Well, the spring, summer, and fall seasons are when the food comes back.
Okay. So he should create a seasonal menu off of the farm?
Yeah.
And offer it to the public?
Yes.
As an excursion?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I'm sure he's going to be very popular with that one. And does he have anybody helping him cook these seasonal menus?
Yes.
Okay. And who helps him?
Some of the other people that live on the farm.
Okay. As part of their labor? As part of offsetting the labor?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that sounds delicious. And is there anything else? Because he wants to travel as well while he's having having this business through the farm and his livelihood being taken care of. Does he offer any of the extra produce does he sell it to other, farmers markets or restaurants as well, or?
Yes.
Yes. So he should look at all avenues to sell and get produce too.
Yeah, it's good to be diverse.
Diversify. Okay. So diversify your customers on what kind of produce they want, and then you grow them and you just procure and fulfill the contract.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds like a fabulous idea. And then, in terms of travel, what recommendations do you have in terms of his interest in travel and his artistic pursuits while he's also running a business through his farm?
Well, his interest in photography can go hand in hand with his travel. And part of that also goes hand in hand with the farm.
Okay. So take pictures of the farm?
Of his farm and other people's farms.
Okay. So if he takes pictures of the farm and other people's farms, what is he doing with that? What should he do with those pictures?
Grow communities.
Oh, okay. So kind of advertise and market the community through his photography pursuits?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Part of the farm and having people come to stay is to learn about how to farm as well.
Oh, okay. So he should also offer workshops.
Yes.
Farming workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And then people can come and offer free labor to help with the farm and learn through these workshops.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting excursion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some can pay too.
Some get paid too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends on what you offer.
Yeah, particularly if parents would like to send their children to learn about the farm.
Oh, so kind of a children's workshop?
Yeah.
Okay. And they do it with the parents?
Yeah, or without.
Or without? Okay.
Mm-hmm. They can come and stay.
Come and stay? Maybe sign a waiver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he can get his artistic pursuits by doing photography and building a community and awareness around the farms. And from that, it will lead to travel as well. Mm-hmm. Opportunities to travel. And through these different connections and the pursuit in building out his farm business, which he would be leasing through the owner, is there anything else that he should know about in terms of making this a successful life for him?
You can't do it alone.
Okay. He needs help.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the recurring theme is in order to build this life, he needs to ask for help and be creative in finding help.
Yes.
And he needs to be creative in how he finds customers and how he utilizes this land to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Let's move beyond the goal and the recommendations that you have for Patrick to achieve this goal and get into a couple other questions that he has about his personal life. You know, Patrick thinks that his self-worth is based on other people's approval. What do you want him to know?
It's okay to let go of that.
You don't need other people's approval. And he feels like he let down his wife and his son. What do you want him to know?
They have their own path to live, and if he honors his, that it will be better for them.
Okay. So honor his path, and they will walk their paths as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not his responsibility to buffer their falls and make the tough decisions and events in their life not happen, or to protect them from those events.
No.
Okay. And one of the things we want to know is there any vows in other lifetimes that he took? Like vows of poverty or anything else like that he carried on to this lifetime? There are no vows? Okay. No, okay. And he wants to know why he picked the parents he picked, because he knows that he is mirroring the difficult marriage of his parents in his current relationship with his wife. What is the reason for picking the parents that he has?
To show him that it's important to have fun.
Okay. What happened? And what recommendations do you have for him having a successful relationship with someone?
To be very honest.
Be very honest. Okay. Patrick also has questions about his son Ziggy. Will Ziggy feel accepted by his parents?
Yes.
Okay. And Ziggy is crying for attention through being resistant and not listening to his parents and making mistakes. What does Ziggy want Patrick to know for why he acts like this?
He wants to know that I know he's there.
Okay. And what can you tell Patrick about Ziggy as a man? What recommendations do you have for Patrick in terms of raising Ziggy to be a happy, healthy man?
To talk to Ziggy.
Just talk to him?
And play with Ziggy.
To talk and play with Ziggy all the time so that he expresses himself clearly to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then he also wanted to know if he should pursue a romantic relationship with Rose or if he should stay with his wife and try to pursue that relationship. He really needs some guidance in his love life. What do you have to say about that?
The relationship with Rose is not a good fit right now.
Okay.
As far as a serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And with his wife, if there's healing starting to happen, and to be patient, and to be honest, and to keep the boundaries.
Okay. And when should those boundaries loosen up?
Some of it shouldn't.
Okay. Some of those boundaries loosen up. Okay. And so he should continue to talk to his wife and express his feelings and communicate with her.
Yes.
So he should try to work it out.
You should give her the opportunity to know who he actually is.
Okay. And let her choose.
Yes.
And whatever she chooses, that is when he can either choose to pursue a relationship with Rose or not, if she were to choose to be with somebody else or to move on.
Yes.
Okay. Also, he wants to know he has a very hard time expressing his feelings to Chelsea. What can he do to express himself more clearly to her in the moment that they're having discussions?
Not hesitate when it comes. He holds things back.
Why does he hold things back?
He's afraid.
Afraid of what?
She'll be disappointed in him.
Okay. But yet she still becomes disappointed when he doesn't tell her.
It's true.
So he should just tell her how he feels.
Yes, he should.
And then they can work it out as soon as everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also, he's really worried about his brother Mike. What advice can you give Patrick for how he can help his brother Mike have a more fulfilling life?
I could offer suggestions for Mike to change his habits.
What happened to that?
Drinking and smoking cigarettes.
Okay. And why does his brother drink and smoke cigarettes?
Why does he?
Yeah, does he do it excessively or?
It's daily.
Daily? Okay. And that's what's causing him to be sad?
It's a part of it.
Okay. Is there any other recommendations that he has for working with his brother and his sister to help them live enjoyable lives as well?
To be honest with his sister as well.
And what should he be honest with his sister about?
That she can pursue what she wants to pursue.
Okay. The other thing is he has some significant friends as well. He has quite a bit of list. He has Chris, Tim, Justin, David, John, Raimundo, Nish, Tracy, Flora, Doris, Janet, John, Grandma Colleen, and Nava, and Joe. What do you want to tell Patrick about his friends?
His friends are there to help him.
Will they help him with achieving his goal of the farm?
Some of them with the farm.
Okay. but they will also help him in terms of making the business aspect of it run. Give him some pointers.
Not so much for the business.
Not so much for business.
And the farm, but some of them are for the creativity.
Okay.
The art and those things.
Another thing that he wants to know is, as he takes on so much in terms of his job, and this is one of the recurring things that he is struggling to do, is to let go of all of these extra possessions that he is working so hard to maintain. Can you give him suggestions on how he can transition into the farming goal and that lifestyle that he wants from the life that he currently is doing now for his job? How can he make that transition peacefully?
Part of it's to ask for help from his wife.
He's asked for his wife to help. Okay.
Yeah.
And he has digestive issues in his stomach. What is the source of that? How can he remove that?
Part of it is his emotions.
So how can he resolve the emotions that are causing him digestive issues?
Well, having a different pace of life.
Mm-hmm.
With more managed stress would help a lot.
Okay. So much more simplified daily routine and life would help him a lot with his digestive issues.
Yeah, it would.
Okay. So maybe a routine, a lifestyle, like if he were to move towards the farming lifestyle and there was a consistent routine that was predictable for the most part, that he can manage with all the help that he has found and all different ways to have it run, that would make the digestive issues simmer and his body feel healthier. Okay. Wonderful game plan. Also, he was wondering about his left wrist and his right ankle. Is there a story behind his left wrist and right ankle always having issues?
Left wrist needs to get his attention. He's able, in a way, the left is more creative than the right.
The left is more creative than the right. And in terms of being creative, he talks with nature, and he really kind of has a connection with it. So his farm, is there any recommendation in terms of working with the farm and nature?
There's a balance.
Balance. Okay. And also, he has some questions about his sixth senses. So he really wants to know, what are some real-time or some tips that you have for real-time connections with his spirit group and angels and guides in his everyday life? Because he does have those connections in his spirit, in his dream time, but he wants to have those connections and guidance in real time. What do you have to tell him about that?
It's a different language.
What language is that?
It's a language of subtlety.
They're gonna nudge him?
Yeah. He's had expectations about things which keep him from hearing and seeing what's already there.
Okay. So he has to look for the subtle signs?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing about his sixth senses, and I'm almost done with all his questions too, is he really wants to know, what recommendations you have about his ability to teleport to alternate realities. What is the deal with these alternate realities that he seems are more than lucid dreams? Are they real realities that he goes to?
Yes.
And what do you have to tell him about it? What's the purpose of them?
Purpose is to show that this reality is more fluid than he thinks.
So he has the ability to, his consciousness has the ability to change his reality.
Yes.
And is he aware that he is traveling parallel realities?
Part of them is aware.
As he becomes more aware of his existence, will he work with the elements of reality more to make those decisions that put him into alignment with better realities that are more in line with his better experiences?
Yeah.
Okay. What recommendations do you have for Patrick in terms of traveling between parallel realities? What should he look for? Is there something that he should look for that could help him?
And help him to know that it's here all the time.
Here all the time. He just has to make a decision on which one he wants to go to?
Yes, and to allow the space for it to happen.
Okay.
He keeps himself very busy with other things.
So he needs to kind of simplify his life, release a lot of the extra things that he does so that he has room to see new possibilities.
Yes.
And then with those different possibilities, he needs to make a decision which path he's going to walk further into. Perfect. He also wants to know about his telepathic ability. Can you tell him a little bit about the mind reading telepathic ability? Is that going to amplify?
Yes.
And why is that going to amplify?
Because connections are getting stronger.
What connections? Is the Earth moving into a higher parallel reality?
Yes, things are changing.
Are people who are working on their awakening and being more fluid and aware in reality and working on moving forward to the best version of them, are they moving with Earth into that higher reality?
Yes.
So the best thing for Patrick to do to move into that higher parallel reality of Earth is to work on living the best version of him and working towards achieving his goals and focus on the pathway that's going to lead him to the most satisfaction in his life.
Yes.
And that will be the pathway in which he goes into his higher reality.
Mm-hmm.
So his own consciousness is what decides which parallel reality he goes into.
Yes.
So he changes reality based on what he decides to do.
Yes.
Okay. And as he does that, these other six senses are going to amplify.
Yes.
So in terms of mind reading, are there any recommendations that you have so that he doesn't get himself in trouble with the mind reading?
Don't go looking for it.
Will it just happen?
Yes.
So people who are working on living the best version of them and making those steps towards the path into those higher realities of Earth, their sixth senses, their spiritual sixth senses will start coming online.
Yes.
And they will start amplifying.
Yes.
And what recommendations do you have for people like Patrick whose sixth senses will start amplifying as these skills come in and become a little bit out of control? What tips do you have for him in terms of how to use this positively in his life?
Can you use his art and storytelling?
Okay. So he can kind of channel these six senses in his art and storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good, very good. And the last thing that we want to ask you is that we would like the pain that Patrick has in his body that we've discussed, we would like it to go away. Would you release those pains in his body?
Yes.
May we have a healing on all the parts of Patrick's body so that are no longer important, that he's hanging on to so that he can move forward in a healthy state.
Yes.
Are you removing the pain and the healing from his head to his toe?
Yes.
And are you cleaning his aura field?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to tell Patrick before we take him out of the session?
Remember that he has a choice.
Has a choice. I ask one more thing. I have a pain in my neck. Can you remove it too? I'm going to get my chiropractic soon, but I have a pain in my neck. Also, can you send Patrick a lot of love, a shot of love right now for his next journey in his life?
Yeah.